welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode number 12, The Land of the Free and the Home of the Shade. I like it. For 4th of July party.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
is appropriate.
definitely
sure.
appropriate.
So we start out with the ladies are getting ready to leave Georgia, and Erika's having some furniture delivered. Dorit invites Boz to the 4th of July party at her house. And back in Georgia, Garcelle starts confessing to Sutton that her and Kyle were listening to the conversation between her and her mom. And her mom is standing there in the kitchen listening to her confess to it. And they don't even know it. Just like, you guys are really...
She was literally right there.
I know. Like, you guys are really bad at this.
Oh, my God.
So, it was a good interaction, though. Then Kyle is there, and she's kind of reflecting on the fact that she's going to be going home to an empty house and almost considering, like, asking them if they want to extend it another day in Georgia because
she's got nothing to go home to.
She's got nothing to go home to. Garcelle
does, though. She's got, teenage boys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely Garcelle does. And then...
Which I'm hoping somebody else was watching them because, that's
recipe for
disaster.
I'm sure someone had an eye on them. I mean, they do have a father, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Sutton, with her mom, she said that, she's going to hold her to saying, I love you once a year. And her mom says to her, well, when are we going to do this? And she said, I guess Christmas. And then Sutton said, I love you, Reba. And then Reba said, I love you, Sutton. Just right there out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Thank
could
God.
say that's all Sutton wanted. Like that was a success. That was the whole reason she went there.
Yeah, that's what Garcelle said. This is why we came here.
Yep. I was so happy to see that.
Yeah.
And you could definitely tell that, that's definitely part of Sutton's whole problem and her whole demeanor is she's a very insecure person. And
yes,
because of her childhood trauma, her early adulthood trauma. I mean, there's a lot of goings on there, and it's definitely shaped her into who she is. And I think she can be very prickly. And I don't think
her husband leaving her didn't help that either.
Yeah, I don't think she means to be. I just think it's her coping mechanism.
She's guarded.
Yeah. So one of the things I did learn, I watched the after show last week.
I was going to sneeze, but I didn't. Thank goodness.
Well, God bless you anyway.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I watched the after show last week, and they were talking about Reba going to school. So she went to school in the early 70s. So she had been a therapist for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we see Bozma's cousin, Tina, comes over, and she says that they're very close. They're even closer than her two sisters because they're 10 months apart in age. And I just have to say, that dress that Bozma was wearing was beautiful, that yellow dress. But once again, those yellow earrings were horrible.
Listen,
yeah.
Everybody online is always coming for Boz's earrings. I love all her earrings. I love all her big ass earrings. I love them. I don't know what everybody's problem is, but I think she can carry it off, and I love them. And I love that she wears such obnoxious big earrings. I love it.
They are so big.
I'm here for it. You go, girl.
I mean,
I like it.
If anybody can pull it off, it's her, but I
For
still
sure.
don't like it, especially those red ones. I mean,
I love the red ones.
It's
I know.
just overwhelming.
It is. It's too much. Like, she can barely move her head. I don't know. I think the red ones are just too much. That's just my opinion. We're all entitled.
You are entitled to have one.
Yes, we all are. And
Yes,
she
we are.
obviously
I
likes
like
them.
them. You don't like them, so there you go.
She obviously likes them. That's why she picked them out.
Yeah.
That is true.
So she's telling Tina about Keely and her that they need to see, all the things that they need to do to see if she can get pregnant. And then we find out that she hasn't really had easy pregnancies, which I was very surprised to hear.
Yeah.
So she had got pregnant early. She was young, and it was unexpected. And she had a daughter named Eve. 5 months into her pregnancy, she found out that she had preeclampsia. And then at 6.5 months, her blood pressure spiked. So they rushed her to the hospital. They had the whole team there waiting for her, and the baby didn't make it. And that is traumatic. 6.5 months pregnant, that is
Yeah,
traumatic.
Very
terrible.
traumatic. Yeah.
So, of course, she's going to be nervous during any pregnancy, never mind at a certain age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then 2 months after she lost Eve, she decided that she was meant to be a mother. And then she got pregnant with Lael. And that pregnancy was terrifying because she was so worried she couldn't even enjoy it, you know? She was
Absolutely.
every single day she'd wake up and, be worried. Now she's 15 years older,
Yeah.
which that doesn't add up. I thought her daughter was older than that, but maybe not. But there's a lot involved, and I'm really honestly surprised. I mean, I get it that, she wants to help have a baby for him, and maybe she wants another baby too, but I'm just surprised she would
like maybe
want
a
to carry.
surrogate would
Yeah.
be a better
I mean,
idea.
just
But
because of her age, just because of that very reason,
yeah.
I mean, it could still be your baby. But also on the after show, that's the other thing I learned, that her and Keely say I love you all the time to each other. So our concern that there wasn't love there is for no reason, because there's
Glad to
plenty
hear.
of love.
Glad to hear that.
There's plenty of love there. So Sutton's getting ready to go to the 4th of July party at Dorit's, and she's talking to her glam squad, and you could tell she really doesn't want to go.
You know,
She should have gone.
I really think that she shouldn't have gone. And you know what? Sometimes trying to be nice and trying to do the right thing backfires, and you should really just go with what's good for you instead of what's good for other people, because sometimes it's just not a good thing.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. And, I'm sure with her hindsight, she would agree that she shouldn't have gone, but she did try. And then we see Erika's on FaceTime with Kyle, and Erika tells Kyle what Bozma said to Kathy at the dinner party about Kyle being cold. So now Kyle's feeling a certain way about going to this party too. So Sutton arrives there first, and she walks in and she's, yelling, "Hello, is anyone here?" And she sits down and she's all by herself, and she got there at 1:22 and Kyle showed up at 1:45. I'll be honest with you, that's awkward. That's awkward.
Yeah, but
It is awkward, but
I'm
I would.
sorry. Sutton walking in, we're at the barbecue, right? Sutton walks in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sutton walks in and just starts yelling, "Hello, hello." You knew people were outside. You definitely, the whole back of the house was open. You knew people were outside. If nobody was in the house, walk to the backyard.
Get
Don't
a hot
just
dog.
stand there awkwardly yelling hello, and when no one answers, be like, "I'm just going to sit here." Well, then you're going to sit there alone because everybody else is outside because it's a barbecue.
Yeah, go get a hot dog, get a drink,
Yeah.
go say hi to somebody,
Yeah.
sit the hell down, do whatever you got to do.
When
But
I'm
you know what?
hosting, like,
You're
This is-
busy.
this is what my mother does. I love my mother. Say I host Easter and say tell everybody to come over at 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
My mother will call me at 3 and be like, "Do you need anything? I'm getting ready to head over." Well, if I needed something, it would have been an hour ago.
Right, not now.
So at this point, please don't call me because you know how I am when I have something. I'm like all over the place and cuckoo. And I can't talk on the phone right now. I'm sorry.
Right.
So when somebody's hosting, like it just so happened Dorit was upstairs, but she could have been out in the backyard with her guests.
Yeah, not sitting around waiting for you
For Sutton to show up.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was very odd of Sutton.
Well, I will say, I don't think she felt comfortable to begin with. And I guess if she's going out there and she doesn't know anybody, that's going to be another level of discomfort because there was a lot of kids outside.
She should have came with someone. She should have.
I definitely
OC
agree.
girls always travel together.
I agree.
Why didn't she come with her buddy Garcelle?
Exactly.
She definitely should
Kyle.
have come. She should have come with somebody. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Because it was awkward. And I also will say that once again, she is from the South, and Southern people tend to host things a little bit differently. I mean, she would have had Avi there answering the door, even if she wasn't there. And it's not like,
after Reba.
yeah,
I'm not.
You're not
I'm
buying
not
it?
sold on the whole
You're
Southern
not
hosting
impressed
thing.
with the Southern
I'm not impressed with the Southern hospitality.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
But you know what, really, Sutton, I think she would have found a problem no matter what. Because
That's what I
she's just
mean.
in the mode.
Well,
I
she was
totally
definitely-
agree with you.
She was definitely in a mood. And
It
then
was overly dramatic.
Dorit does come downstairs. Kyle walks in, and then Dorit comes down a little bit after that. And Dorit goes over to Kyle and hugs her. And meanwhile, Sutton's still just sitting there, like waiting for her
And she
greeting.
gets annoyed, but your bestie just cut her off as she got to the bottom of the steps. Like, I mean, I guess she
Yeah.
could have out of the corner of her eye been like, "Oh, hi, Sutton, how are you?" But Sutton probably would have had a problem with that because it was a half-assed hello. Because then she went to talk to Kyle. Like you said, I think Sutton was going to have a problem with whatever she did.
Yeah, it was awkward. And then the whole thing with the handbag.
That was weird.
That was
And
very
she-
weird.
And I'm going to take it. And you owe me this. And Kyle, the look on Kyle's face when they're going back and forth, I was just like, oh, this
Which
is
is
so
weird.
awkward,
Very
right?
weird. Yeah, very weird.
I didn't get it. I don't know what was trying to go on there, but I didn't get it.
It was weird. So then Kyle walks outside, and then they go outside, and Garcelle gets there, and as she's walking into the backyard, she trips. Thank God she didn't
Almost
fall.
face planted.
I know.
Almost face planted.
I know.
And I've done that before. And I did that at my father-in-law's wake. My gosh.
Aw.
There was a step, and I had on black flowy pants, and the bottom of my heel caught in the bottom of my pants. I can't believe I didn't face plant, but that's such a horrible feeling when you almost fall like that. It's so scary. I
Yeah.
felt so bad for her.
Yeah, I did too. So then Garcelle asks Sutton, she sits down, she's like, what she's drinking. She said, it's a watermelon something. And Garcelle says, is there alcohol in that? And Sutton says, yes. Dorit said, you asked Sutton if there's alcohol, if she's drinking?
That was totally unnecessary.
That was. And Sutton says, Dorit, shut up. And Sutton says, don't be a bitch. And I don't blame her. I mean, I don't know about the don't be a bitch, but it was not called for.
Well, you're basically accusing her of having an alcohol issue. So don't accuse somebody of having an alcohol issue if you don't want them to call you a bitch. Again, I don't find bitch so offensive.
It's so funny.
But why did Garcelle even?
She
Why
was
did
She was curious because
she
she's
was
like,
"Oh, what are you drinking?"
yeah,
Right.
she's like, what? And she said a watermelon something, and she's like, oh, is there alcohol in it? Like she was deciding whether or not she wanted
Whether
it.
she wanted one. Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah.
then afterwards they're all like, oh, I'm going to go get the watermelon thing. That's, I think Erika said, oh, I'm going to get the watermelon thing, like whatever that watermelon drink was. But Garcelle meant no disrespect at all. She didn't meet shade. She didn't. But, I mean, Dorit met shade. That's what she meant. So, Sutton said she's already implied before that she had a drinking problem. And, we see all the scenes where they cut back to that. And she never apologized for that. And Dorit said, if you could do me a favor, don't call me a bitch in my house. And, Sutton's like, that's it. I'm leaving. Like, I don't need to stay here. Like, I don't need to be here and be uncomfortable. Like, I don't need this. And then Dorit's like, well, I don't want to fight with you. Then say you're sorry.
Right.
Then
Then why did
apologize.
you just make the snide comment about her drinking?
Right. All you need to do at this point, if you don't want to fight with her, is just apologize. You know what? I should not have said that. I'm totally wrong. I'm sorry. What can I get you? Do you want me to get you a hot dog? Whatever. But no, she couldn't do that. So, of course, Garcelle and Kyle go after her because they just spent 3 or 4 days down in Georgia with her and her mother, and they know how emotional that whole situation was. So they can't just watch her walk out.
No, but before they follow her out, Garcelle does go over to the bar and she's like, hey, can I get one of those watermelon drinks, please?
Yeah.
She did order herself a drink, which I would have done the same.
But really, I mean, Sutton did drag it out, though. I mean, if you
totally
want to
agree
leave,
with you.
then leave. Don't dick around by the front door. And I
Yes.
think when Bose came up to them later on and said, "What are you doing?
Yes.
Why are you all hanging out by the front?" It's because it's basically really, Sutton, if you want to leave, fucking leave. Don't.
I
be
have that written down somewhere. I have the same thing written down.
right? Come on,
Make a decision.
Yeah,
Stay
just
or go.
stay or go. Do whatever you're doing. Don't dick around at the front door of somebody's party. And Bose was kind of
Giving
right.
them, I think she was giving them a chance to talk to her because Garcelle and Kyle were sitting there talking to her, trying to convince her to stay.
Yeah. No, I know. It just dragged on too long. Because people are coming in. Bose
Right.
comes in with her entourage. How many people did she have with her?
A
Did you
lot of
see that?
people. I was laughing.
Yeah. And then Erika comes in and they're like, what's going on? Like, why are you
Right.
guys sitting by the front door?
And then Kathy comes in.
Yeah.
When Kathy comes in.
Yeah. And what about Kyle and her confessional saying, Sutton's the one who gave Kyle such a hard time about her leaving the party, which is true.
Yeah, she's like,
Did
it's
you
not
see
lost
how,
on me.
Right.
And I love how Kathy Hilton was the only one who came in, and after she came in, she closed the door. I mean, it was just weird that
She probably had to
her
reshoot
door.
their entrances a couple of times.
Maybe. But, the door was like, front door was just like continuously just open. I don't know. We have bugs around here when it's nice out. You have a screen door. Like,
I know.
But Dorit's door was just open, but Kathy was the only one who, after she came in, closed the door.
That's because you're only getting one take with Kathy Hilton. Take it or leave it.
Maybe that was it.
She's like, I'm walking in the door the way I want to.
There
You're not telling me to do it over. But did you see how Bose ran right over when Kathy walked in the house? She didn't go over before that. Erika came in. Kyle was sitting there. Garcelle was sitting there. As soon as Kathy came in, Bose was like, oh, I better go see what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, but she starts with, excuse me, bitches.
Yeah.
That's what she said. And
Yeah.
Garcelle's like, oh, I don't know if that's the way to start this. Because after what just happened.
Yeah. I mean, Garcelle did check. She checked Bose.
Yeah. And honestly, Garcelle's the only one who can check Bose.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bose wasn't wrong. Like, either Sutton's leaving or staying. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just whatever.
No, I agree with that.
Happen,
No, I totally agree with that.
And I mean, when I walk in someplace, if I'm in a good mood and my friends are there, I could be like, what's up, bitches? So, like, she didn't know what just went on. So
I think it's different. Like, if you walked in my house and Wendy and I were sitting in the living room and you were like, what's up, bitches? That's one thing. But they were clear. There was clearly a problem. And Bose went over and was like, and
She knew that there was a problem because Dorit said they are all following her out.
Right.
Just like an FYI, I know, Kelly, you said you don't mind being called a bitch. Lori, do you mind being called a bitch?
You call me whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason, it's just not offensive to me.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's not great.
Don't call me a bitch, okay? Because I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right. Well, listen,
really,
don't be a bitch, Wendy, ever. And we won't have to call you one.
I don't like the word bitch. I just don't. I don't know why, but I don't like it. But like you said, some people don't mind. And I think
I thought that she said that when she first walked into the door.
No.
I thought when she walked up to the...
She said it when she went back when Kathy got there?
Yes.
Okay.
I was thinking she said it when she first got there.
No.
because that would have been totally normal.
Yeah,
that would have been totally...
No, she said it when she went back. Dorit is saying to Boz, a lack of empathy and support or sheer kindness. Like, all I said was, don't be a and this is what Dorit is saying. Don't be a bitch, a vile human. Don't be a douche. I was like,
but here's the thing.
Whoa.
Dorit failed to mention to Bose that she made a snide comment about Sutton drinking and that there's a history of her doing that to Sutton.
Right.
She left out a big piece of the story.
Absolutely.
So that's manipulative.
I totally agree. So then Sutton finally says, I've ruined this. I want to leave. And so she leaves. And then Garcelle and Kyle, they go inside and the ladies want food. And did you hear Kathy say, oh, I brought my bathing suit. Like I thought maybe we're going to go swimming. What?
And did you hear what she said? That what he said to her?
No, I don't remember what he said. What did he say?
He said
something like, it's like insinuating that it was too revealing, maybe, I thought.
I know something like you shouldn't have a bathing suit on, like something.
It was really like, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, and actually, whatever he said, it wasn't mean, it wasn't nasty, nothing like that. I thought, I like that he's still, like, that's still an issue for him. Like, maybe he doesn't want people looking at his wife in a bathing suit. You know what I mean?
No, that's
sweet. How I took it. And I thought that was sweet.
I just was so surprised. Like, first of all, I've never, ever seen a Beverly Hills pool party where they actually go swimming.
No.
Have you? I mean, it's not like it's Potomac
kids there.
But that slide looked fun, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, it's not like it's Potomac.
Kids. Yeah.
Or Atlanta. or even OC, where like they always have their butt cheeks hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Beverly Hills girls, they don't roll that way.
No.
They're not doing that.
How about Sutton's big litany? Was she left? Sorry, your businesses have failed, and you can't have a clean divorce like I did. Girl, you had a clean divorce because your husband had enough dough to just say bye-bye. That's why your divorce was clean. So,
Well, that's going to be an issue next week because that's who she's talking to is Dorit. She says, I think my wallet's bigger than hers, which is a fucked up thing to say.
No,
It is
that's a
fucked up.
horrible thing to say.
Like, but at this point, because I was pissed off at Dorit for making the snide comment about the drinking, I'm like, I don't even know whose side I'm on anymore. I don't think I'm on either one of their sides. I think they're both acting like assholes.
Yeah, both of them. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Garcelle, so Dorit's saying that Garcelle has always been Sutton's mouthpiece because everyone is saying that Bose is Dorit's mouthpiece. So then Garcelle says to Bose, well, you said that Kyle was not easy to get to know. Like, this is where she wants to throw this in.
It
Like
was
that-
had nothing to do with it.
Right. That's totally just stirring the pot. Stirring the pot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then Bo says, well, yeah, but it's not like I said she's a cold-hearted bitch, but you did say actually she was cold.
She did.
I mean, you didn't say hearted bitch, but you did say she was cold and
Right.
not
and you said
easy to
it to
get
her
to know.
sister.
Right.
Which was
Yeah.
not brilliant. Yeah, I
Right.
don't. And I'm a big Bose fan, but that last episode,
I didn't like it.
episode, that was like, I was like, girl, what are you doing?
I think Kyle handled it great because she said, listen, I thought we were getting along fine. You know, I think you're being too hard on me. And then Dorit jumps in and says, I don't know what's going on with you right now, referring to Kyle. And I'm like, well, why are you getting involved in this? She's
Yeah,
having...
like Dorit should have just not. She should have let Kyle talk to Bose. Like, I don't know why she kept like inserting herself. It's getting annoying.
It
Well,
is.
you know, I think she's had a lot of attention from Bose, and I think a little bit it's going to her head a bit.
She doesn't want to share that.
No. I like how Kathy Hilton said, well, I don't think any of us are mean girls, but
I don't.
maybe I'm just used to it.
Meanwhile, Erika's sitting there eating her hot dog the whole time. And in her confessional, she's like, I don't know how long we can keep going like this. But she's, you know, happy with her hot dog.
Erika in that hot dog, when she walked up and said to the guy, I'm stealing your hot dog and you could be mad at me later.
That was so funny.
Right.
That was
It was
so...
kind of a Lori move.
Absolutely.
It was
Yes.
definitely a Lori move.
Absolutely.
I could definitely see Lori doing that.
Yeah.
And he just gave it to her. He's like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get my own.
Right.
Then Kyle says to Dorit, like, why do you have to back up everything that she says? Kyle says, I thought we were good because they had just squashed everything. And I'm having a conversation with Bose and you're jumping in the conversation. And she's absolutely right. Like, why did she have to jump into that?
I liked when Kyle was imitating her. She's like, everything you think I say, you're like, and like moving her face around.
But she did kind of turn it around. So I guess that on some levels, she really does want some kind of relationship with Dorit because she could have just been like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah.
But she did turn it around and be like, all
Yeah,
right.
they hug each other. They hug each
Like-
other and they say that they love each other.
It was so nice to see them go upstairs and have
Yes.
that moment alone and
Yeah.
then act like they would normally act with each other. Because it's so crazy. They're literally both going through the same thing. And like Kyle said, like Mo and PK are out living their best lives. Like, why can't we?
Right.
Mhm.
But it's
Mhm.
very clear to me. It's very clear to me that Kyle does not want to get divorced from Mo. It's very clear to me.
I think they're in a totally different situation because even when Kyle goes upstairs in Dorit's house and she looks around and she sees like what a mess it is and there's clothes and boxes, she's like, Dorit's got OCD. Like, she doesn't live like this.
Yeah.
As soon as she saw the condition of her house, she's like, oh, no, this makes sense to me. Like, now I know why she's acting this way.
Now, do you think that she's packing up because they're in pre-foreclosure?
I thought that.
I mean, it could very well be. I think
Yeah.
that, you know, because then Kyle was talking about like Mo's closet and how she took half the closet. You know, maybe she just doesn't want to look at his stuff all the time, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
she's trying to figure out like, okay, well, we can't afford this house, so I'm going to have to downsize and let me figure out what it is I can take, you know?
Yeah.
But then Kyle does say that, you know, as far as the separation goes, you know, she really thought that it was going to be 6 months. And she just thought that they were going to take a break and then he was going to come back and they were going to sit down and talk. But once he moved out and got the apartment and bought the furniture and didn't stage it, and she sees that he's just living his best life, like now it's really hitting her that that's not what's happening. I mean, even the fact that he just broke his clavicle on Valentine's Day and had surgery, he had actually 2 surgeries, I think. She hasn't even seen him because she's still in LA and she's been by Teddy's side.
Right.
This whole time. So when they were married, there's no way, like when they were in a good place, because they are still married, she would have been on a plane. She would have been.
For sure.
You know?
For sure. Yeah, I felt bad for her. Like, I really think, and Lori and I had talked about it the one week you weren't on with us, Wendy, like that. I think that Mo was just a big fat cheater. And I think it just got to the point where she was like, I can't do it anymore. Because everybody probably in their circle knew. Just like I think everybody in their circle knew that PK had a drinking problem. And I think she was like, not giving him an ultimatum, but basically saying like, we need to just take some space because I can't deal with this anymore. And it doesn't sound like he changed.
No, I think she was hoping that by switching it up like that he was going to come to have this like revelation of shit. I better
not
like
wanting
get
to
it
be
together.
Without her.
Right.
Yeah, I better get it together because she's like, she's really at her end. But no.
I mean, even Dorit said that she feels like PK is 50 steps ahead of her and she wants to catch up. And I think that she is on a rapid catch up because I think she finally realizes that we are not staying together and I'm not going to let him bulldoze me. I am going to fight for what is mine. And, this is not going to be easy. I'm not going to lay down. And I'm good for her.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Good for her.
I know this is going to sound awful, but Dorit's going to bounce back. I mean, she's stunning. And she's younger than him.
You can't say she's not a beautiful
she's
woman.
Gonna meet somebody.
I think she has a boyfriend, doesn't she?
Good. I hope she does. And I think
she does. I think he's a young guy. I think that, I think she's been seen out and about.
She's just stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the after show, she did say that if PK came back right now and said, I'm sorry, let me, let's continue on. And she said she wouldn't want it.
Really?
Yeah, she said she wouldn't want it.
Start watching this after show.
Yeah, the only way she said she would want it is, it would take lots of work. Like there would have to be lots of therapy involved. There would have to be, she said at this point it couldn't be, I'm sorry, I just want to come home.
Right.
Let's, just continue on. She said no.
Okay.
Which I think is good.
I think it's very good.
I do too. And I don't know if you guys have seen all these rumors out there about Jennifer Tilly, how the cast doesn't like her and nobody wants her. It's all BS.
Yeah, I didn't pay that any mind.
I didn't either, and it was annoying me, but Kyle was on an Amazon Live and they asked her and she said, no, we all love Jennifer.
What's love? What about Jennifer Tilly is going to annoy you? She's funny. She doesn't try to steal any scenes. She's not causing any drama.
Right.
She's the ideal friend of on Beverly Hills.
Right.
Yeah, she really is.
Now, it was interesting because on the after show, Sutton and Jennifer Tilly were both saying that they were shocked about how Dorit called PK an alcoholic on the show. And Garcelle says that, Garcelle kind of feels that Dorit did that to make herself feel better. But I mean, all right, so maybe you shouldn't have said it because you're kids, but it is what it is.
Right.
I mean,
I think
there's something like that. There's no hiding that. There's no,
Right.
And I'm sure for Dorit, like has said before, this is something that she's probably been hiding and covering up and trying to make the best of the situation.
I said the same thing.
Especially when you're married to an alcoholic, a lot of times you hide all that stuff for them, so maybe she's just like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And if it's me saying that on national television, then it's me saying that on national television because this is what it is.
And she didn't say anything about him drinking until after he did. And he went into recovery. But if you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic. And I believe that PK was an alcoholic. If you're leaving your family for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, going to another country, not keeping in contact It sounds to me like you have some kind of substance abuse issue that when you leave your family for that amount of time, you can go off on a bender.
Yeah, you
You're
go
not
binge.
checking in. Why
Right.
wouldn't you check in? If you're working, why wouldn't you check in?
No, I totally agree. I guess, we're going to have, I'm surprised we haven't heard anything like further about their divorce
I know.
because, she's got to have passed the 10-year.
I was thinking about that. They must be past that now because you think about when that was filming.
Right.
So hopefully that's a good thing in her favor.
But they're separated still, right? So
Yeah, but they're not legally divorced.
no. And I did also see that PK was thrown out of his apartment
Really?
for not paying rent. Yeah.
I do think that they're in a bad way financially. It doesn't sound like they're in a great way financially. She's earning a salary being on the show, which is great for her.
But she lives very high. She lives very high. All those designer things, she buys them.
You know what I was thinking when they went upstairs and all those racks of clothes were sitting there? I was thinking, I wonder if she's pulling like a Jenna Lyons and she's going to do like a sale, start selling some clothes.
I can't see her selling her stuff.
I can't either, but when times are tough.
And on the after show, Kyle was complaining about Dorit. Like, she said, she doesn't see Dorit like, crying about her husband to come back. Like, but I thought to myself, what do you want her to do? How should she act?
Yeah, I don't like
your situation, Kyle, is totally different than her situation.
I think she was complaining when she was saying that. I just think that she was kind of pointing that out. Like, they're in totally different places. Like, Dorit's okay with it. Like, she knows where she's at, whereas Kyle still doesn't really know where she's at.
It does seem like PK and Dorit are at the point where they're like, okay, we're getting divorced. Like, we're working towards a divorce where, yeah, Kyle and Mo aren't there. Yeah.
Kyle and Mo still have not had a conversation.
Right.
Whereas, PK sent a nasty email spelling out that I'm not paying for this. You're responsible for that. I'm not,
Yeah. So it's totally different.
They're in two totally different places. And I don't think she was criticizing Dorit. I think she was actually just saying, like, at least she knows where she's at. Like, she knows that this is where I'm at.
Comparing it to herself. Okay, I got it now.
Yeah, yeah.
What's interesting is that PK was meeting Mo in Saint-Tropez. Who's paying for that if he's got no money?
Right? If he's got no money, right?
Maybe George. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who else does he have as a client besides Boy George?
I don't think any.
I don't know.
Who knows if Boy George is even his client? Like,
I think there's like a big tour coming out about Boy George or something.
Isn't Boy George is sober though, isn't he?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
So that's good.
So on the after show, they also said that Reba lost her boyfriend. He passed.
Yes.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah. And she actually spoke to Sutton and told her that she was lonely and sad.
Yes.
So at least they're starting to communicate their feelings to each other, which is awesome.
I'm assuming Sutton's brother lives close to Reba. Like, he's
I believe
in the
so.
area.
Believe so. I think he's in Georgia.
It seemed like it, but
And then they asked Jennifer Tilly if she wanted to be a mom, and she says that she didn't.
She never wanted to be.
And she's
interesting.
Yeah, she thinks that she wouldn't have been a good mom because she didn't have a great childhood, and she just didn't think it would be something that she would be good at, so she didn't do it.
I'm sure she is an amazing aunt.
That's what she said. She said,
I'm sure she is. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Garcelle commended her for that, like for knowing that, that's not what she wants to do. And she doesn't think that she would be better than her mother was at it. And I do too, to be quite honest with you. Like, we all know it's not easy being a mother. It's not. Like, it is not. Like, don't let anybody tell you that it's easy, because if they do, they're lying.
Right.
They are totally lying.
It's not easy.
And it doesn't matter how good or bad your kids are. That's got nothing to do with it. It's just the emotional.
Yes. And it's certainly not easy to be a good mom. If you're a shitty mom, then it's not hard to be a mom because you're not really into it. And it's just like, they're just whatever. But to be a good mom, if you want to be a good mom, is hard because you're always very hard on yourself. You're always just think, what should I have done different? What can I do different? How can I, just Forget it. It's a shit show. It's just a
Shit
mess.
show is the perfect way to describe
Just a
it.
mess.
But all you girls out there getting ready to start families,
Yeah.
good luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. Good luck.
And
So-
then on the after show, Jennifer Tilly was talking about how, they were talking about Kyle's picture table. I mean, Dorit's picture table.
Dorit's, yeah.
And Jennifer Tilly was saying when she was at Kyle's, she noticed that there were a lot of pictures of her and Mo up and around. And there was one of them like kissing. And she'd like put it in a drawer. And they were like, "You really did that?" And she's like, "Yeah, put it in a drawer."
That's funny.
Well, Kyle even said or maybe it was in her confessional, she said she finally took down the pictures of her and Mo in her bedroom and she put them in the drawer.
Yeah.
And she said her two, I don't know, employees that work for her, she's like, they're going to like open up my drawer and see them there and wonder like what's going on. I'm like, probably not. They know that Mo's not living there.
Right.
So I feel bad for them. I mean, especially Kyle, because I think she wanted it to work.
I do
And
too.
I think that she would take Mo back. I think she still loves Mo.
I think she would take him back to.
Especially after watching her at the shooting range with him. Like,
Yeah. It's kind of like, other couples, like your kids grow up and then it's like, are we gonna stay together? Like, you raise your kids and it's like, do we even have anything in common? Do we even enjoy each other's company anymore? Like, it's like a whole reevaluation.
Yes.
That's where they're stuck at.
yeah. And even Kyle said on the after show, they asked her if she's been to Mo's apartment yet. And she said she still hasn't been there.
She
but
still hasn't.
her valuables are there. And because during the fires, Porsche brought her valuables to Mo's house. So she can go there, obviously, at any time, but I know it. She
I don't blame her.
I wouldn't go either. I don't think I'd
We
want to.
probably had sex with other women in there.
Well, it's not even that. Just to go in there and see like how clean and easy his life is.
Yeah.
It'd be like walking out of your home into like this new sterile environment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And knowing that that's where your partner of how many years is now living.
Right.
It just would be weird.
It would be weird. I wouldn't do it. It's not something I would do.
No, I don't think she should do it. I don't.
So when it said 1 week later, so I do agree with Kyle. I think if PK was with somebody else, they would have known about it. And then they say 1 week later. And did you hear who they play announcing Mo was kissing that girl at the airport? It was Up and Adam. I'm like, can we get this guy off of the Housewives shows? And by the way, I commented on one of his posts the other because I can't believe he was this naive. Up and Adam did a YouTube thing about the Jersey, Rachel Fuda not coming back because John Fuda. And I commented, I'm like, come on, Adam, you cannot be this naive. Like, obviously, Teresa's can't put this out. And then he did a retraction video about it. But anyway,
always
he was
comes
the one.
back to Teresa.
It always comes back to Jersey. Sorry,
It
he
does.
was the one who was reporting when they were showing Maurizio kissing that woman in the airport.
Which can't be fun to see for Kyle. It's got to be so
That's going to be
bad.
terrible next week when you see her reaction.
So bad. Yeah.
I feel bad. So about the whole New Jersey thing, the OK magazine that just came out, that whole article. So Bravo debunked it.
Of course they did. I knew as soon as I read the John
Right.
Fuda part, I'm like, all right, well, Teresa and Louis put this out.
So Dolores was on Two Teas in a Pod with Tamra because Teddy's in the hospital still. I don't know. You didn't hear it?
I just saw it today. I was like, oh, I got to listen to that. I'll listen to it tomorrow.
So Tamra was really breaking down crying. She's very, and I get it.
About Teddy, sure.
About Teddy. I mean,
Sure.
Teddy, they're very close. She was saying that they have a schedule between her and Kyle and all of Teddy's friends, that someone's there with her all the time because they don't want her to be alone.
Nice.
And they will not give an update. It's not for them. It's not their story to tell. They're, waiting for Teddy to do it. So anything you see out there. But Dolores was saying that it's not true what came out. Nobody has, received anything. It's a really good podcast. Dolores is really good
I'll listen to it.
with Tamara. And, I'm not a huge Tamara fan. And
Right.
they're filming right now. Tamara's filming. And I told you she did the one with Alex Baskin, and she had to be on set like 30, or in her house. They were coming to her house to film in 30 minutes when she was doing the one with Alex, because he's got a new podcast coming out because he started his own company. He's not Evolution anymore. Like, he was the CEO of Evolution. Now he's got his own company. And now he's doing other stuff in addition to like Orange County. But the dynamic between Dolores and Dolores just being really real about like everything that goes on about because they were recapping Potomac and about Karen Huger and about, you know, how she portrayed herself and said that she's not an alcoholic. Dolores is like, listen, I know the police world. I know what you have to do. Like, I can tell her what she's got to do because she's getting sentenced next week. Karen's being sentenced next week. Like, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, huge deal.
So I like it.
I just saw today that they are filming, and I read that Slade threw a glass of a drink at Tamara.
Yes, I saw that too.
I hope it's true.
Yeah, it happened last night, it said.
Yep.
I believe it because
she's the reason Gretchen's off the show.
And Tamara also said that she's not been drinking. She hasn't drank in a year.
She shouldn't.
And Dolores said, why? And she said, well, because I'm really working on, past traumas and, therapy and, she admitted
her spectrum diagnosis.
Well, she didn't say that, right. But she admitted that drinking, doesn't bring out the best in her and she doesn't like the way she acts. And I was glad to hear that she is at least admitting it.
That's always the first step. Change. Yeah. You got to change.
A lot, this sober thing, it's like taken over, like, and it's great. Like people like that, like just, making that choice. Like I don't have a alcohol abuse problem. Like I got to drink every day, but I just don't respond well to alcohol. So I'm not going to drink anymore. I mean, I think it's it's good that people are doing this.
Yeah. And those were pretty much her exact words. She's like, I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic and I'm not even saying I'm sober. Not. What I'm saying is that I'm just not drinking. I'm just not drinking. And, the funny thing is Dolores was saying, which I did not know this, Dolores has never been drunk in her whole life.
I could see that because I could see her never, ever wanting to lose control.
Well, she said she didn't I guess she kind of grew up in it, like not where it wouldn't, because that's something you would have done at least when you were younger. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I mean, her father was a cop. I don't know I don't know, but she said that she has never been drunk. And, then they were talking about the whole, like the cannabis thing about Stacy opening the cannabis company because Frank has it. And obviously Tamara has it. And she's like, oh yeah, we talked about that. And, Frank talked to Tamara about it and they've talked to Eddie about it. So it's like something that, they all talk to each other about. And I did like that they were saying, and I totally agree with this, like everyone can have a podcast. There's enough to go around. Everyone can have a cannabis company. There's enough to go around. It's not like you have to be stabbing people in the back.
No, I mean, I think it's great. If Stacy wants to do that, great. Just don't call it Happy Stacy because that'd be a little fucked up.
Don't call it Happy Stacy and just be upfront about it, you know?
Yeah. And the sober thing, like everything's habitual. So if you stop drinking, you start to not even think about it anymore.
Right. I mean, she said Eddie maybe drinks once a year. She said there's no alcohol in her house.
He was Eddie was never really like a big drinker. Yeah.
They're very much into health and fitness.
Yeah.
And that about her. Like that's what they're into. So she's like, we're boring. We go to bed at 8:00. It's not like,
I would love that.
Kelly's like,
yeah.
I can't go to bed before 11:30, 12 o'clock. Like I physically can't. And then I'm up at 6. It's so annoying. I'm not getting enough sleep.
Yeah,
which is why I'm always yawning on the podcast.
Yes, you are always. Okay, one other thing I learned this week. So the sprinkle cookies. Melissa found her co-packer from Lisa Barlow.
Really?
Yes. So which podcast was she on? I heard her talking about it on a podcast. It wasn't hers. Maybe it was Jeff Lewis.
A new one just dropped.
Maybe I did listen to that one too. Maybe it was Jeff Lewis's. But anyway, she was saying that, it was. She does this all the time.
Sorry.
I yell at her too. She was on Jeff Lewis's podcast and she had brought them sprinkle cookies. I'm sure it was before she went to Wyoming. She was out there in LA and they were raving about them. Jeff's like, well, why didn't you do this sooner? He goes, they really are good. They're really very good. And she's like, well, she had been working. She'd been trying to get the right product out there. She actually had a deal with ShopRite and she wasn't happy with it because ShopRite would have been perfect.
He does a lot for ShopRite and so does Rachel. Like they promote them.
Yeah.
Wow, she wasn't happy with it.
She wasn't
On
happy.
ShopRite, step up your game. It's Melissa Gorga.
Yeah, come
She
on.
wasn't happy. She wasn't happy with the product. So she was out talking to Lisa Barlow, and Lisa's like, "Why don't?" She's like, "No, I've been working on it. I can't find the right co-packer." And Lisa's like, "I know this perfect guy." Lisa introduced her to this guy. She went out and she met with him. They did the recipe that she wanted or what she was looking for, and she loved it. So Lisa Barlow and whoever, I think it was Jeff, said she knows everybody. Like she has all these connections to make things happen. I was like, oh, that is so good to know, which again is why she will never not be on Salt Lake, because she's Lisa Barlow.
Yeah.
Like Jenna Effin Lyons, she's Lisa Effin Barlow.
Yeah.
She really is. Anywhere. Even though I don't like her, she is Lisa Effin Barlow.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this when I was watching Beverly Hills last night, because, I always say the same thing. I like this. The Housewives is an ensemble cast. One is no more greater in importance than the other. But as I was watching Beverly Hills, I was like, I don't know if I'd watch without Kyle. Like, I do feel like Kyle is a staple in the franchise. I hate it when people say that about Teresa, because I don't personally agree with that with Jersey. I could totally see Jersey without Teresa, but not Beverly Hills without Kyle. But at least now I understand why people do say it about Teresa. You know what I mean? The people who like Teresa.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with Kyle not being on.
Without Kyle?
Yeah.
No, I think Kyle needs to be there.
I do too. And
I'm surprised you're saying it.
I know. I was too. As I was thinking it, I'm like, oh, this is different. Because I don't think it about anybody else, like any other franchise. I really don't. I don't think, like OC was fine without Vicky. Atlanta survived without Nene. I don't know.
So the announcement that you made last week about the Real Housewives of Toronto. So I did a little digging. So apparently there is a Real Housewives of Toronto already, but it's not a Bravo show. So now it would be coming to Bravo. And I looked at the old one. It didn't look good.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what it's going to be if it's a Bravo show. I don't generally like the ones. And also there was another one I saw, a Real Housewives of Sydney, also not a Bravo show, and also did not like it. I did not like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to
we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
I mean, I'm here for a lot of housewives. I really am. Like, I feel like we should have one in every city. But
yeah, I think it's getting a little played out, though. I think Bravo's got to start focusing on something else.
Well, I'd love them to bring back the Ultimate Girls Trip. I wish they would just do that.
Yeah.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. And this is not my whole
I know.
thing. But the girls trip thing, I liked that. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I would love them to do it with Below Deck. I want them to do it, Bravo's girl trip on Below Deck and mix it up, mix up the cast.
Right.
Mix up Summer House with Southern Hospitality, with Southern Charm, with Real Housewives.
I think Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality mix it up together a lot.
Yeah, no, those two do, because they're both in South Carolina. But I think we should mix it all up.
I think it would be fun to do a girls trip and mix up some of the different housewives.
Well, that's what the girls trips were. Yeah, that's what they were.
You know what? You watched the one with New York. You watched the one where it was all
the Legacy.
New York Housewives.
It was a Legacy.
Yeah. Prior to that, that's what Ultimate Girls Trip was.
They mixed them up.
Like two housewives from each franchise and put them together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one actually had Melissa and Teresa on it. The very first Ultimate Girls Trip. It had Melissa and Teresa.
And they were calling it the OGs, and Teresa was like, I don't know why they're calling Melissa an OG. She didn't start it.
Yeah. But they got along on that. They got along on that trip.
They got along, but Teresa brought up the fact that she came on the show behind her back, because this was after she started dating Louis, and Louis got in her ear.
She is never going to let that go.
But she had let it go, and then Louis came in and he got in her ear, man. I blame everything on him.
I'm still watching her on House of Villains. I haven't finished the House of Villains.
Gosh.
I know. Listen, she's still on it, to be quite honest with you.
How many people are left?
I feel like there's a lot. Her and New York are not getting along.
New York will eat her.
Well, she's doing okay. She's holding her own. And Lars is still there too. Lars the Pippin. I don't know. I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Until next time. Oh, by the way, we got another review today on Apple Podcast, a 5-star review.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you guys could keep giving us reviews on Apple
That's
Podcast.
awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
that
for
is.
whoever just did that review.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone,
Have to look at it.
any place that you listen to our podcast, if you could give us 5-star reviews, that will really help us. Tell your friends to subscribe so we can help grow this podcast. I think that's what they said. Like, I hope you guys grow this. And I was like, oh, yes, that's what we want.
Oh, that's so nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.